Okay, it is Monday night, August 18th, 2014, and it's our Team Inspire weekly call. And so last week, uh, we promoted our Coach Sneak Peek. Sorry, I'm double hearing weird technical difficulties. So we promoted our Coach Sneak Peek last week, and actually started that today. And we completed our second week of our coach apprenticeship training. So it's so exciting watching everyone that moving their business forward day by day. You guys just, keep up the amazing work. Seriously, every new person that comes on and has an excited question, I get all happy and thrilled to be able to help out, because I know that means that you guys are working really hard to take things to the next level. We added 4 new coaches to our team this week, and a special attaboy to Christy Adams for adding 2 new people this week. So she was in charge of half of those 4 this week, and Lisa and I rounded out the other 2 with the other 2 this week. So that's just amazing to me that we added 4 new people in 1 week. So nice job, girls. So let's see, this week's calendar. This week we kicked off our second Coach Sneak Peek group. This is our second time that we're doing this as a group with Team Inspire. And I wanted to make sure that if any of our new challenge groups presented coach tendencies, I wanted to make sure that you knew the signs to look for when you were talking about the Coach Sneak next month and in general to people. I just wanted to make sure that, the signs jumped out at you for potential coaches, to start talking to about this kind of thing. Any of your challenge group members who have really stepped it up to be super helpful, encouraging, or supportive of other members. Anyone who has expressed interest in the past in coaching but hasn't committed. Anyone who's currently on Shakeology HD. Anyone who has a ton of Beachbody programs already. Anyone who would love to have a business with you like this, anyone on social media or that you have formed, and they mostly complain about their job. I took some of these from Heather's newsletter today, so it's funny. Anyone who's struggling financially. I'm actually creating my own list tonight that I'm going to be starting when I get off with you guys. I'm going to be going through my customer and contact lists to look at who I've talked to in the past and just, get back in front of them about what we've got going on. So take some time and brainstorm each of these categories and make a list, an unbiased list. Don't overthink of it. Don't prejudge when you're brainstorming. Just make a huge list, and then you want to go back through the list and start inviting. And so, one thing that you can do initially is you don't want to just jump right in and start inviting them. You want to, how's it going? How was your weekend? That kind of stuff. I've said many times that when I first jumped into recruiting, that was the biggest mistake that I made in the beginning was jumping right in and saying, hey, I don't know if this would, apply to you or not. And I hadn't talked to them in weeks. And so, definitely should be starting a conversation with someone first. So here's an example of of a script that you can use once you've had chatted up with them a little bit first. Hey, I don't know if it would be good for you or not, but I would hate at least not to ask you. My team is running a free 5-day sneak peek into what I do as a coach. You'll be able to just sit in, get information, ask questions, and see if it might be a good fit for you. I thought of you because, and then you can enter your reason, whether they're helpful in their challenge group or you saw they hated their job, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think that this might be great for you like it has been for me. Does it sound like something you'd want to be a part of? And then you can kind of, go from there. So let's make this week count. Make this week the week of invites. We've got like another week and a half left of the month. So let's really dive into invites this week. And then I actually had a note in here to ask you guys how you made out after last week's challenge. I asked you guys to find 25 people for the sneak peek. And so I wanted to find out if you actually did that. And chances are you came across some objections, and I wanted to find out what objections you had. So maybe at the end, if we have a few minutes, we can run through those too. So the date for our next Team Run Challenge group will be August 25th. These next few days, we're going to have to finalize the challenge pack orders and get the numbers on the totals for the groups, because we just want to make sure that they're not too large and they don't end up being like 50, 60 people like before. If we need to break them up, we could do that. So the theme for the challenge is, back to school, back to your routine, short on time. We're going to incorporate, daily fitness under 30 minutes a day, family meal planning, tips and tricks, which we've already started a really great list on our Team Inspire page for that we can continue to add to. These are customers that should be purchasing programs that are T25, 10-minute trainer. The 21-day fix or P90X3 is also fine because it's short, but that's kind of the theme. So, I'm not really telling people they can't come because they're doing something else as far as if it's longer, 40 minutes or something. But the theme is really, getting back to school, back into the groove, and people that are short on time, because this is number one excuse usually. So. And so there is a sign-up sheet that I was actually working on today for the head count on the group size to make sure that we don't run over, or we are watching how big it's getting so that we can limit it if we need to. So your sale items for this month are still for August, Focus T25 and 10-minute trainer. And the Body Beast is still on sale too. T25 is $180. 10-minute trainer is $160, and Body Beast is $160, and those are all with including 30 days of Shakeology. And then also this month, if you achieve Success Club 5, you get a fitness pack for achieving Success Club. You get a stability ball, agility ladder, and a jump rope, and it's worth more than $87. So that's pretty cool. I actually have all of those things, and I use them weekly with all of my workouts. So. Pretty cool. The agility ladder is a lot of fun. But you can also use those for giveaways if you have duplicates especially. So those are really cool. Let's see. Oh, I also found out today, this, was kind of cool that someone came across and said that you could actually get the refresh, the 3-day refresh on HD. It's without Shakeology, but it's available on HD quarterly or monthly. So make sure that you're talking to people that have bought it in the past and let them know that they can get on auto ship with that, maybe a quarterly tune-up. But that's just another something that you can, work with people on HD programs and stuff. But just remember that's without Shakeology. So it should either be somebody that already gets Shakeology or has had it in the past. But you could also sell it as a challenge pack for a new person, obviously. So, okay. Prospecting. Okay, so it really depends on which social media outlet you choose. And this can be done in a number of ways. I've said a lot of times that I use my FitnessPal. It's just because it's easy for me. I started there, so I feel like it's just an easy way for me to talk to different people. Sorry, I'm trying to make this smaller so I can see. Okay, so usually when I'm in my FitnessPal, let's use for the first example, step one for me is to look through the community, friends and forums, and I actually look through to see, what a common interest might be. I'll click on the community tab, and it will bring me into the message boards, and I'll see, introduce yourself, getting started, and I'm looking for people that are posting, help me please, I'm a mom, I'm looking for this, like just general people that are in need for buddies and things like that. And so after I, find a topic or go into one of the main forums, like introduce yourself, I'll actually look and see the different ones and the different people that have posted, and then I'll either choose the person's name, your username, and then I just start to kind of read through their profile. Some people have it, blocked, and some people don't, as far as what you can see. But like a 60-year-old male is not really going to help me very much, so I'll typically move on if I come across something like that. What I do look for is, 40-year-old moms. I go as high as 50-year-olds, and I go as young as 32, just because I feel like that's, you know, my time of life that I'm dealing with and my age bracket for my children, and just finding somebody that you can relate to. So you can also start your own forum and your own thing to get people to come to you. But that's pretty much what I do, is I'll look for somebody that has common interests that are similarly my age group, and I also look to see where they're from, because if they're from England or something like that, then you're kind of out of luck. And it's not to say that you can't make friends with people from England, but you're not going to be able to sell anything to them if it gets to that point down the road. So I make friends, and once I add them as a friend, I do as many as I can actually in one sitting, because then after they become my friend, they show up in my friends list. But you're only allowed to message 5 new people through your email, MyFitnessPal email, in a night, or in a 10-minute period rather. So I just choose five a day, 5 a night to message. So once I've got a bulk of new friends in there, I'll message them and say, hey, how's it going? Have you been on MyFitnessPal long? I've been here a little bit over a year now, and I love it. Let's stay connected so we can keep each other motivated and reach our fall goals, or I'll change it to be winter goals or summer goals or whatever it is. I hope you had an amazing day. They always reply back. They're like, thank you so much for reaching out. Usually people are psyched to talk to you. They don't even realize sometimes that there's messaging in there. And I just start the forum right from there. Usually I'll try to say something like we did today, like they'll reply back and say how long they've been on there and stuff. But I immediately don't want to get into the goal, like all that goal stuff and weight loss stuff. I want to get to know the person first. So I usually change the subject after I've addressed, kind of how long they've been there. And they'll be like, oh, the weather's been awesome here. We went swimming today. We had a blast. Or the kiddos had a blast. I'll say something that relates to my kids. And then I'll say, are you married with kids? Leave it at that. And then we go back a few times, and that's the forming process begins. So that's how I get started on MyFitnessPal. And then when you get comfortable with that, then you can up it to like 10 or 7 or whatever. You can do more if you have more time and you're getting better at doing that. It definitely takes a little bit longer because it's not an instant message, because I usually answer the questions the next day, or it just, again, depends on how often I'm on MyFitnessPal. I try to make just a habit of doing it once a day at night, every night, going through it. It seems to work pretty well. But you don't want all your eggs in one basket either, so you kind of want to work with Facebook and some other things too if you can. I know it can be overwhelming, so definitely it helps to also pick something that you're concentrating on, something that works well for you too. So with Facebook, if you're not a fan of seeking out Facebook groups, like you could actually go into the groups I Love Disney, or I Love Coach Bags, or Mommies, Local Mommies, whatever your Facebook groups, you can go into there and use kind of the same messaging scenario to those people in there. I feel like that's a little bit harder for me. I feel like just friending people out of the blue has been a little bit difficult on Facebook, because it's like, it seems so stalkerish to me. I just can't get out of that comfort zone. That's me, my personal view. But what you can do now is you can actually see this little caption that says people you may know. And so if you pick like your best friend from high school and you go into like people you may know under their friends, they'll actually give you suggestions. So what you can do is friend a handful of those people and then message them and say, hey, I hope they don't mind that I added you, but I just noticed that we have a bunch of mutual friends. How are you doing? And then once they respond, you can ask about their weekend, do they have any plans, that kind of thing, and then start, the forming process from there. With Instagram, it's seemingly a little bit easier to get the approach started, although I have trouble getting them from Instagram to Facebook. That transition starts a little easier because you have a picture to go on and you can initialize a conversation like your kid's cute, your dog's cute, whatever it is, because you're focused on a picture. And then the trick is to work the conversation such that, I post motivational messages all the time, come find me on Facebook, and then get them to follow you, and then you can do a little bit more with your messaging. With Twitter, what I typically will do there, again, it's a little bit more difficult. I think it's real fast paced too. So, focusing on all this stuff, it can be overwhelming and hard. So I would definitely pick one or two things, especially in the beginning, that work well for you, and then you can concentrate on those ones that you like best. But for Twitter, you can actually go in and search hashtags. And what's worked in the past for me is stalking people who are doing the 30-day shred, or Jillian Michaels anything, because they are working out at home to a DVD, and hopefully they're not from England, because a lot of people that do the shred are from England for some reason. But you basically could just comment, and a lot of times they're saying, I just killed the shred, or a first day of the shred, something like that. And you can just comment and say, how was it? How do you like her? Like, I've never done Jillian Michaels, so that's always my angle, is how do you like her? She seems scary to me because of The Biggest Loser. She's like yelling at people all the time. So, that's my angle with it. And I do actually have friends that I've made from Twitter from chatting back and forth. One girl actually took us a whole year to get to a challenge group and a challenge pack, but I still chatted with her for the whole year. So it's really, again, I think all in what's going to work best for you, and what's going to be, the least amount of a time hog. Because if you're struggling and you're trying super hard to be on all these social media things that are not working for you, or you hate it, you can't force yourself to do something that you can't stand. So you really got to find something that works well for you. I always, like I said, talk about MyFitnessPal, because I feel like now that I've created a following and I've gotten really comfortable on my approach with people, it's easy and natural for me to do it. And so I do. That's just what I do. And so I really would like to get better at Instagram and other forums, but I feel like only if I have enough free time in my day will I start to delve into other things, because I want to, make sure I'm messaging enough people and talking to enough people on a daily basis. And so if I'm spending all of my time trying to figure out how Instagram works or how Twitter works, that's kind of it's a waste of time. I think when you're going through the trainings that the advanced trainings, Push to Diamond and things like that, where they're making you they'll give you tasks and they'll have you sit and go on to those specific sites and do specific things. That's when you'll find out if it's going to work for you or not. But if you're just sitting around trying to follow feeds and figure it out on your own, ask for guidance, because I do have also some other trainings that I can send your way if you're like, I need to know Twitter. I really like the idea of Twitter. I want to figure out Twitter. We can get you guys there. But it's a good idea to focus on one thing at a time, for sure. The world's our oyster. It's like there's all these people to talk to, and so we just have to nail down the right areas to do that in, and the best one that's going to work best for you. Okay, what questions do you guys have? That was all I had. Nothing. No one. Okay. Did you guys all know that the 3-day refresh was on HD? And I'm the first one to find that out today. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. All right then. If you have no questions, then I guess that's it. And tomorrow night I'll do another Zoom call for our coach apprenticeship training program. So if you guys have anything you want to jump in on, or have any coaches that you want to follow along with, you're welcome to join that call too. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, guys. Night.
Night.